You made one mistake, and now you're lying awake at 2 a.m. replaying it. Not just the mistake, the look on their face, what they must think of you now, what this says about who you are, where your life is headed, what you've always known about yourself deep down. That's not thinking. That's a system running you. And the worst part? You already know the spiral is irrational. You've told yourself to stop. You've said, just let it go. You've tried breathing, you've tried sleep. None of it works because you're applying the wrong tool to the wrong problem. This isn't a stress problem. It's not a mindset problem. It's a signal corruption problem. And once you understand what's actually happening inside your nervous system, you can stop managing the spiral and start auditing it. That's what we're building today. Here's what no one tells you about overthinking. It doesn't start in your head. It starts in your body. Something happens, a mistake, a rejection, an awkward silence, and before you've processed a single word, your nervous system has already run a threat assessment. It looked at the situation and asked one question: am I safe? And if the answer felt like no, it fired a chemical signal. Cortisol, adrenaline, a cascade your ancestors needed to outrun predators. But you're not running from a predator. You're sitting at your desk, staring at your phone, rereading a message. And that chemical signal? It doesn't know the difference. It just wants a threat resolved. So it loops over and over, searching for a resolution that never comes. That's the spiral. Not a personality flaw, not weakness. A biological process running without a circuit breaker. The question isn't, how do I feel better? The question is, where does the signal break down? There's a cycle running every time this happens. 3 components, always the same order: thought, feeling, action. A thought fires. The thought triggers a feeling. The feeling drives an action, or in the case of the spiral, an inaction, avoidance, rumination, withdrawal. That action then feeds back and confirms the original thought. Here's a live example. You send an email. Your manager doesn't respond for 3 hours. Your brain fires a thought: they're upset with me. That thought generates anxiety. Anxiety drives you to check your inbox every 7 minutes. Checking every 7 minutes reinforces the thought that something is wrong. You've just built a feedback loop out of nothing. And here's the critical diagnostic insight. The thought that started the loop was never verified. You treated it as a fact. Your nervous system treated it as a fact. Your behavior confirmed it as a fact. But it was never a fact. It was an interpretation. That's where the spiral lives, in the gap between what happened and what you told yourself it meant. Most emotional regulation advice stops at challenge your thoughts. That's useless without a structure. What you need is a systematic way to separate objective data from emotional narrative, fast enough to interrupt the loop before it sets in. This is the 5-step logic audit. It takes under 4 minutes. It runs on paper, and it's designed to function like a diagnostic tool, not a therapy exercise. Step 1. State the trigger. Facts only. Write down what actually happened. No interpretation, no emotion. Just observable, verifiable events. I sent the email at 9 a.m. It is now 12 p.m. I have not received a reply. That's it. If you catch yourself writing, "they ignored me," stop. That's not a fact. That's a story. Cut it. Step 2. Identify the narrative. Now write down what your brain said it means. They're angry with me. I probably said something wrong. They've lost confidence in me. Don't judge it, just extract it. You're separating signal from noise. Step 3. Run the evidence audit. 2 columns. Left side, evidence this narrative is true. Right side, evidence it isn't. Most people have never done this. They've been running entirely on the left column, stacking interpretation on interpretation without ever checking the right one. When you write both columns, something shifts because the right side is almost always longer than you expect. They were responsive yesterday. They have a 2 p.m. meeting I know about. They've had no complaints about my work this quarter. Your nervous system couldn't access that information. It was operating on incomplete data and running a worst-case simulation. Step 4. Write the most probable explanation. Not the most hopeful, not the most catastrophic, the most statistically likely. They are busy. They will respond when they have time. 1 sentence, grounded in the evidence audit you just ran. Step 5, define the minimum viable action.
Not fix everything, not figure out how to prevent this feeling forever. One small, concrete action you can take that is within your control right now. I will send a brief follow-up at 3 p.m. if I haven't heard back. Until then, I close the inbox. That's the action the system outputs. Not a resolution of the feeling, a redirection of the behavior. The audit doesn't eliminate the spiral immediately. What it does is interrupt the automatic loop long enough for your prefrontal cortex, your executive function, to re-enter the process. You're not fighting the emotion, you're giving the rational part of your brain a seat at the table. And over time, the loop gets slower. The gap between trigger and spiral widens. That gap is where your control lives. Here's what you now have, a model for why the spiral happens, signal corruption in the thought, feeling, action cycle, a diagnostic that shows you exactly where the loop breaks, and a 4-minute protocol that runs a logic audit every time the spiral starts. This isn't motivation, this isn't positivity, this is a system, and systems can be trained. 7 days, that's the experiment. Every time you feel the spiral starting, you run the audit. Pen and paper, 5 steps, 4 minutes. By day 7, you won't just feel different, you'll have evidence that the system works. Type day 1 in the comments right now if you're committing to the 7-day audit. I'll be checking in. And there's a homework assignment in the description, a pre-built logic audit template you can print or copy. First use is always the hardest. The template removes the friction. If this framework hit different, share it with one person who needed to hear it today. Not for the algorithm, because they're probably lying awake too. The spiral isn't permanent, it's a pattern. Patterns can be interrupted. That's the work.